Alright, so picture this. Los Angeles. Two people deeply in love, a baby on the way, and what feels like the whole world pressing down on just one man's shoulders. That's where our story kicks off. The movie opens with Shawn and his wife, Andrea. They're a young couple expecting their first child together, and honestly, they seem like the kind of couple that makes you root for them right from the start. But here's the thing. Shawn is carrying a weight that never really leaves his face. He works as a security guard at a school. Honest work. Decent guy. But the paycheck? Far from enough. He's got a baby coming, bills stacking up, and dreams that feel a little too far out of reach. Now Shawn isn't just sitting around feeling sorry for himself. He's got a plan. He's hoping the school principal will put in a good word for him with a private security firm. Somewhere he can earn real money and actually give his family the life they deserve. He believes his one recommendation could flip everything. You can feel how badly he wants this. Not for himself, but for them, for his wife, for the child he hasn't even met yet. Then we cut to a hospital scene. Andrea has gone in for an ultrasound, and the doctor lets them know there are some minor complications. Nothing catastrophic, but she's going to need extra care, reduce stress, works. And you can see Shawn just quietly absorbing all of this. Then one night, and this is where things start to shift, Shawn is out exercising when the street lights around him begin to flicker and die out. He looks up, and there's something in the sky, a strange, glowing light. It moves in a way that nothing natural should move. No wind, no physics, just this deliberate, almost guided motion. It spirals through the air for a few seconds, and then, just like that, it vanishes. Shawn stands there in the dark, heart pounding, completely unsure of what he just witnessed. The movie's whole mood quietly changes right here. Something is coming, something unexplainable. And somehow, Shawn is already in the middle of it. The next scene is lighter though, a gathering at a friend's house. We get introduced to Marcus, Shawn's closest friend. These two go way back, like really back. See, Shawn's story is painful. His mother passed away the day he was born. And when he was only 7 years old, he lost his father too, in a devastating and heartbreaking way. After that, it was Marcus's mother, Robin, who stepped in and raised Shawn like one of her own. So when we say Marcus is like a brother, we mean that completely. Robin is a character, let me tell you. She's warm. She clearly cares about Shawn, but she is also the kind of woman who will get all up in your business without a second thought. She wants to know everything. At the gathering, she starts asking Shawn about his finance, his future plans, all of it. She even offers to help, but Shawn politely shuts it down. Later, Marcus pulls Shawn down to the basement for a private conversation, and what starts is some light teasing. Marcus asking Shawn if he's really ready for fatherhood, joking about how maybe he'll have regrets, actually turns into something meaningful. Marcus brings up this old memory from a high school camping trip. There was a deer caught in a fence, scared and struggling, and while everyone else backed away, Shawn walked right up to it, calm and steady, and somehow freed it. Marcus says, "You've always had this magic touch. You're going to be a great dad." And Shawn's reply is quiet but real. He says he wishes he still had that confidence in himself. Down there in the basement, Shawn notices a collection of firearms that belong to Marcus's father-in-law. He half-jokingly tells Marcus he should grab one, maybe use it as protection. Marcus shuts that down immediately, says there's a baby on the way, and that Shawn himself is going to be his family's protection. He doesn't need a weapon for it. That night, on the drive home after the gathering, Shawn gets a message from his boss. There's a problem with the school security system, and he needs to go check it out. He drops Andrea home, tells her not to wait up, and heads to the school. She goes to sleep. He goes to work. Up on the rooftop, Shawn fixes the panel and then notices the overhead lights are flickering. So, being the responsible guy he is, he climbs up to investigate, and that's when it happens. A blinding, overwhelming flash of light tears through the sky, and this one isn't passive like the last one. It feels like it's reaching for him, like it's pulling him in. The world tips sideways. Everything goes black, and just before total darkness, strange visions slam through his mind in quick, jarring bursts. A web-like structure, tubes attached to his head, and the most haunting image of all, his father, lifeless, lying right beside him. When Shawn opens his eyes next, he's in a hospital bed, head bandaged. Andrea sitting beside him with relief and fear all over her face. She tells him he fell from the rooftop, but miraculously, he survived. The doctor calls it pure luck and tells him to rest for a few days. Shawn nods and follows instructions, but something has already changed. When he returns home, Andrea gives him a gentle but firm talking to. She tells him she can't believe he risked his life over a light bulb, that she and the baby need him alive and whole. Shawn promises to be more careful, and for a few days, things feel almost normal. Almost. Because that's when it starts. First, it's the art. Shawn, who by his own admission could barely draw a straight line before, suddenly finds himself creating detailed, intricate sketches and painting. It's like someone flipped a switch inside him. His hands move almost on their own. The drawings pour out of him. And while it's strange, there's something beautiful about it too. At first anyway. But then come the hallucinations. One morning, Shawn watches his wife step outside and sees, or thinks he sees, an invisible force dragging her into darkness. Like something from a nightmare. Then, in a blink, she's fine, standing in the sunlight. Normal, like nothing happened. Shawn stands there frozen, not knowing if he can trust his own eyes. At a hospital visit, sitting in the waiting area, Shawn sees his wife on a screen, and she's screaming. He bolts outside, panicked, and then sees something that stops him cold. Sitting on a bench outside is a man who looks exactly like him. Same face, same build, but this version looks worn down, exhausted, broken, and then he's gone. Shawn's grip on reality starts to loosen. His senses go into overdrive. He can pick up conversations happening far away, almost like he's tuned into a frequency no one else can hear. The sketching becomes nonstop. Pages and pages of images, shapes, and symbols that don't belong to any world he recognizes. Doctors run every test they can think of. Results come back completely normal. But Shawn knows, he can feel it, that nothing about what's happening to him is normal. The rooftop accident no longer feels like just an accident. Shawn starts to wonder whether he somehow passed into another dimension that night, whether something out there used that fall as a doorway. He takes his drawings to his doctor and lays them all out. The shapes are bizarre, figures and forms that look like they're from somewhere else entirely. Shawn tells the doctor about the visions, the voices. The doctor can't explain it scientifically, but he encourages Shawn to keep drawing. He says the mind sometimes expresses things through art that it can't put into words. He also refers Shawn to a psychiatrist, just to help him process everything emotional. Back at home, Shawn is trying to hold on to the routines that used to feel safe. But peace refuses to stay. One night he hears something moving through the house. He grabs a kitchen knife and slowly moves toward the living room and finds a dog that somehow wandered inside. He takes it over to Marcus's house to keep it safe. I mean, of all the things you expect to find at 2 a.m, a lost dog is actually kind of a relief. Life moves forward in small, ordinary moments. He goes to the store to buy paint for the baby's room. He picks up art supplies. Robin sees him come home with a bag full of brushes and canvases and teases him about his new artistic phase. But for Shawn, this isn't a hobby. This is something happening to him, something he can't control. While cleaning one day, he comes across old photographs of his father tucked away some. He sits with them for a long time. Childhood memories he spent years trying to keep at a distance come rushing back. It's a quiet, heavy moment, the kind where you can see everything a person has been carrying just in the way they hold the photo. Then one afternoon, Shawn is painting the baby's room, but instead of the cheerful colors and cartoon animals most parents put up, he creates something else, a pattern, almost hypnotic, structured in a way that looks less like decoration and more like a code. His wife walks in and sees it. Her face falls. This isn't what they planned for their child's room. As the days pass, the situation between Shawn and Andrea gets more tense. He buys a gun, something Marcus had firmly told him not to do. He feels something approaching. He can sense it, even if he can't name it, and he needs to know his family protected. But when Andrea finds the weapon in the house, she is not having it. She tells him directly and firmly that with a baby arriving, a firearm in the home is not happening. Shawn listens, but instead of getting rid of it, he quietly moves it to his car. At work, things aren't going any better. His boss calls him in and tells him the school gate was left open overnight and that something strange was found scrawled on the wall. The promotion Shawn has been hoping for, off the table. His boss says he can keep his current position, but that's it. Another door closing. Meanwhile, the drawings evolve into something darker. Alien shapes, creatures with unsettling proportion, landscapes that look like the surface of another world, dry and vast in otherworldly coordinates. Symbols that look like a map. Shawn studies his own work and doesn't understand it, but it feels urgent, like instructions he hasn't decoded. Andrea sees these too. She stands in front of them with tears running down her face and asks what they mean, what he's trying to say. Shawn has no answer for her. He genuinely doesn't know. One afternoon, he drives over to Robin's house. He has a question that's been building in him, a name that keeps surfacing in his mind over and over, Esther. He asks Robin about it. She pauses and then tells him. Esther is a town. It's where his father grew up, his childhood home. The moment she says it, Shawn's eyes lock onto her face and he sees something shift in her features, something that doesn't look human. He pulls back, panicking, starts shouting that they aren't real, that none of them are who they say they are. In a moment of desperate logic, or maybe just desperation, he grabs a knife and slices his own hand to test whether the pain is real. It is. Blood pours out. Robin rushes over to help him, but instead of calming down, Shawn spirals further. He doesn't know what to believe anymore. The next scene takes him to a beach. He's walking alone, the gun in his hand, and for a terrifying stretch of time, the thought circling through his head is whether it would be easier to just make everything stop. He stands there at the water's edge, a man hollowed out by everything he's been through, and he just can't. He throws the gun into the water and walks away. And that right there, that moment, is probably the most human thing Shawn does in the entire movie. But when he gets home, things go from bad to worse. Robin, Marcus's wife, and Andrea are all there. Andrea is unconscious. Marcus's wife is furious and tells Shawn that his spiraling, his paranoia, his erratic behavior, it's destroying his wife, that the stress of living with his breakdown is putting both her and the baby at risk. And then Andrea, once she comes to, refuses to see him. She won't come out. Shawn stands in the hallway and feels the full weight of what his unraveling has caused. He moves into Marcus's place for a few days, but even there he can't rest. The drawings never stop. He fills page after page after page. He remembers what his doctor said, that the drawing might be his mind's way of healing, and he takes the sketches back in to show him again. The doctor studies them, turns the pages slowly, and then says he honestly can't determine what they're communicating. They're just too complex. Shawn's frustration bubbles over. He's been telling people something is wrong for weeks, and no one is able to help. That same visit, his nose starts bleeding without warning. He blacks out, and in the darkness he sees something devastating. A woman in labor. He hears screaming. The woman's face becomes clear. It's Andrea, and then she's gone. Shawn jolts awake, gasping, and races home. She's asleep in bed, completely fine, but the hallucinations aren't done. Now, he sees Robin and Marcus, his wife, moving through the house in a way that looks wrong, predatory almost, like they're threatening Andrea. Then, like a switch flipping, it's over. Everyone is normal, standing there in the kitchen, totally unaware. He goes into the baby's room and finds new paintings on the walls, ones he did not create. Landscapes, a town drawn in careful detail, and at the bottom, a name. Esther, the same name Robin told him about, the same name that's been living in the back of his skull for weeks. He doesn't deliver. He gets in the car and drives. When Shawn arrives in Esther, it's like stepping into his own mind. Every landscape, every back road, every corner of this small town looks like the sketches he's been making for weeks. He recognizes things he's never seen in person. And then, he sees his childhood home, and a man sitting outside of it. A man he knows hasn't been alive for a very long time. His father, sitting there, calm in the afternoon light. Shawn's whole body freezes. He knows this can't be real, but he walks over anyway and sits down beside him. His father looks at him with the kind of quiet pride that Shawn has been missing his entire life and says, "You're going to be a good father, Shawn. You'll do all the things I couldn't." Shawn can barely hold it together. He tells him soft, "Your son loves you very much." And that's all he says. Because what else is there to say? As Shawn stands to leave, a gunshot rings out somewhere behind him, and then that blinding light again. The same one from the rooftop, the same one from the street that very first night, floods everything. And Shawn feels it, that pull, that shift, like gravity reversing, and then something finally settling back into place. The scene returns to the school rooftop, right back where it all started. Shawn is dizzy, disoriented, sitting on the roof as the world slowly comes back into focus. A man appears. Someone Shawn has never seen before. The man looks at him with something close to respect and says, "You're very brave. Not many people come back this fast." He pulls out a notebook thick with names and coordinates, each one paired with a location. He tells Shawn that re-entry is, that whatever worked on his mind was thorough, but that Shawn made it back, which is apparently extraordinarily rare. He doesn't explain who he is. He doesn't explain what the notebook means or what organization he might belong to. He simply drives Shawn home and drops him off without another word. No answers, no explanation, just a quiet nod, and he's gone. Shawn walks into his home. The lights are low. The house is still. He walks into the bedroom, and Andrea is there, asleep, looking peaceful in a way that makes Shawn's whole face soften. He lies down next to her, and for the first time in what feels like forever, he smiles. A real smile. Not forced, not anxious. Just relief. Like a man who survived something he can't fully name, but survived it nonetheless. And then the camera slowly pans across the bedroom wall. It's covered in drawings. All of them. The alien figures, the coded symbols, the desert landscapes, the web-like structures. All the things Shawn created during his darkest weeks. Right there on the walls of the room where his wife is sleeping. The movie ends right there with one question hanging in the air like smoke. If everything Shawn experienced was just a mental breakdown, just trauma and hallucination and a damaged brain misfiring, then how did those drawings end up on the wall? Shawn doesn't answer it. The film doesn't answer it. And maybe that's exactly the point. Some things that happen to us don't come with neat explanations. Some experiences leave marks we can't fully account for. And maybe the most unsettling truth the movie leaves you with isn't about aliens or other dimensions at all. It's that sometimes the line between what's real and what our minds create is thinner than any of us would like to believe.